That's fine. One extra. You give everybody if you want. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2. Who's translating? Do we need to translate?
Please.
Means no, right? Okay, well, we can go any place, right? Here's a verse that Prabhupada said was the most important verse. Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 9. Dharmasya hi apavagars. Dharmasya hi apavagasya yasya nartoratyo kalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamo labhaya ismitaha. All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should not use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Responsibly, all occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Report. We have already discussed that pure devotional service to the Lord is automatically followed by perfect knowledge and detachment from material existence. But there are others who consider that all kinds of different occupational engagements, including those of religion, are meant for material gain. The general tendency of any ordinary man in any part of the world is to gain some material profit in exchange for religion or any other occupational service. Even in the Vedic literature, for all sorts of religious performance, an allurement of material gain is offered, and most people are attracted by such allurements or blessings of religiosity. Why are such so-called men of religion allured by material gain? Because material gain can enable one to fulfill desires, which in turn satisfy sense gratification. This cycle of occupational engagement includes so-called religiosity, followed by material gain followed by fulfillment of desires. Sense gratification is the general way for all sorts of fully occupied men. But in the statement of Sutta Goswami, as per the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam, this is nullified by the present sloka. One should not engage himself in any sort of occupational service for material gain only, nor should material gain be utilized for sense gratification. How material gain should be utilized is described as follows. Let's do the next one too. Life desires, text 10, should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since the human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. Purport. The completely bewildered material civilization, that's right, I don't need it. The completely bewildered material civilization is wrongly directed towards the fulfillment of desires in sense gratification. In such civilization, in all spheres of life, the ultimate end is sense gratification. In politics, social service, altruism, philanthropy, and ultimately in religion, or even in salvation, this very same tint of sense gratification is ever increasingly prominent. In the political field, the leaders of men fight with one another to fulfill their personal sense gratification. The voters adore the so-called leaders only when they promise sense gratification. As soon as the voters are dissatisfied in their own sense gratification, they dethrone the leaders. The leaders must always disappoint the voters by not satisfying their senses. The same is applicable in all other fields. No one is serious about the problems of life. Even those who are on the path of salvation desire to become one with the Absolute Truth and desire to commit spiritual suicide for sense gratification. But the Bhagavatam says that one should not live for sense gratification. One should satisfy the senses only insomuch as required for self-preservation and not for sense gratification. Because the body is made of senses which also require a certain amount of satisfaction, there are regulated directions for satisfaction of the senses. But the senses are not meant for unrestricted enjoyment. For example, marriage for the combination of a man with a woman is necessary for progeny, but it is not meant for sense enjoyment. In the absence of voluntary restraint, there is propaganda for family planning. But foolish men do not know that family planning is automatically executed as soon as there is search after the Absolute Truth. Seekers of the Absolute Truth are never allured by unnecessary engagements in sense gratification, because the serious students seeking the Absolute Truth are always overwhelmed with the work of researching the truth. In every sphere of life, therefore, the ultimate end must be seeking after the Absolute Truth, and that sort of engagement will make one happy, because he will be less engaged in varieties of sense gratification. And what that Absolute Truth is explained as follows in the next verses. Famous verse of Vedanti Tattva Vidas Tattvam Yajiyagam Advayam Brahma Eti Paranam Eti Bhagavan Eti Sabhite. The learned transcendentalists who know the Absolute Truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Om Jnanatimirandasya Janagana Salakayam Chaksus Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavistam Shapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Sapadamtikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we see that everyone is after sense gratification. But the senses have a beginning and an end. So why run after that? Because we're going to remain, but the sense gratification will be finished. So we're bound to be disappointed. Everyone is disappointed in the material world. As soon as we run after sense gratification, then there's anxiety. Because what if we can't connect with the object of senses? Then there's anxiety. And oftentimes we can't. So even before we start, there's anxiety. Or what if I don't get this money or woman, whatever we're running after? So sense gratification automatically includes anxiety. The one who is seeking sense gratification. Because you have to connect, the senses have to connect with the object. And there's a chance that it won't happen, so you're in anxiety. And even if you do fulfill your sense gratification, then it's not permanent. After some time, again you require sense gratification. So therefore, Prabhupada says to minimize it, and just as much as required to keep body fit. Well, the previous verse says that. Senses. Where did it go? One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. So we can strive to keep our body healthy, but even that, not overly preoccupied with health. Because no matter how much we try to keep our body healthy, it's going to become diseased. So we're going to fail in that also. But still, we should try to keep our body healthy. Just like we keep a car running nicely, because it gives us service. We want to change the oil and make sure that the mechanic, that everything is running nicely. Because we can use it. So similarly, the body and mind can be used in the service of Krishna, and therefore it's valuable. Everything valuable we can use in Krishna's service. therefore, Rupa Goswami has told us not to renounce things that are useful in the service of Krishna. Yukta Vairagya. This is the principle. We should use everything that's so-called material. If we use it in Krishna's service, then it becomes spiritualized. Just like the Bhagavad Gita is a paper, but because it's used fully in Krishna's service, therefore we show reverence to it. We don't put it on the floor, we don't kick it with our feet, because it's used solely for Krishna's service, therefore it's spiritualized. So the same principle is there for everything. Prabhupada used to give the example of iron in the fire. Iron in the fire becomes just like fire. By contact with fire, it becomes red hot. So, in the same way, everything material is also Krishna. But now, if we're using it for sense gratification, then it's not properly engaged, and therefore it creates a problem. But if we use it in Krishna's service, Rishikesha, Rishikena, Sevanam Bhakta Uttama, everything for the senses of the Lord, then there's no problem. So again, the beginning premise, which people don't accept, is that by constitution we're servants of God. Just like the hand is the servant of the whole body. So we're part of the Lord, so our constitutional position is to please Him. But the analogy is not perfect, because we voluntarily separate from the Lord because of desire and envy. So therefore, we're in an awkward position here in the material world. This is the first premise, that we're in an awkward position. But people won't admit that. Because of pride, because of illusion, they think that they're rightly situated. They think that they're happy in this world. So, therefore, the preacher's job is, you can say, thankless. We have to tell the people, no, you think you're happy, but actually you're in a very awkward position. They don't like to hear that. In general, people don't like to be disturbed in their sense gratification, in their conceptions that life is meant for sense gratification. But the preacher's job then, he has to do that. Of course, if it becomes counterproductive, therefore the ninth offense is there, we don't preach to the faithless who are against God. But even innocent people may not like to hear that they're in an awkward position. But this is a fact. From a spiritual point of view, everyone is in an awkward position because we're meant to have eternal life full of knowledge and bliss. But this material world is temporary, full of ignorance and suffering. But this is not our real home. If we can accept that, then we can make progress towards our real home. If we don't accept that, if we think, yes, I'm Polish, I'm American, I'll fight on this, I'll kill you if you think, then we're going to remain in the material world because of attachment. But if we accept, yes, that I really belong in the spiritual world, then we can gradually make progress towards the spiritual world, step by step. Not abruptly, Prabhupada says, but gradually we can, you can say, purify our consciousness and come to realize that we're in this, that we belong in the spiritual world, and that the spiritual world is here. The Mahabhagavat, he sees that he's in the spiritual world. He doesn't. We give the example of the coconut dries and the inside. So the inner shell, the spiritual body, can be developed even in this material world, and we can experience a spiritual relationship with the Lord in our heart, with the spiritual master. Prabhupada told me like that, right? I gave the example yesterday that I'm always feeling the presence of my spiritual master, Prabhupada was saying, when he came to me. Apparently I was alone, but I was always feeling the presence of my spiritual master. So that stage is available. We can come to the stage of Brahman. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, na sochati, na kanchati, samasarvesa bhutesu, mad bhaktim lavate para. Brahma Bhuta Prasana. Prasanama means it's full of joy. We can come to that platform, even in the material world. This is a real happiness, not sense gratification, which has a beginning and an end, but Brahma Bhuta realization, which remains with us eternally. This is our constitutional position. So the process is how to go from where we are now, materially attracted and repulsed, to the point of Brahmabhuta, or spiritual identity. This is the beginning. Then Brahmabhuta nasochati samasarvesa bhutas. We can see every living entity as equal. In other words, like Lord Jesus said, love God with your whole heart and your neighbor as yourself. Then we can enter into bhakti. When we come to that Brahmabhuta state, Brahmabhuta pasanama nasochati nakanchati samasarvesa bhutas mad bhaktim lavate param. Then we can become devotees, mad bhakta. We can enter beyond nishta. Nishta is when we become equal, steady. We can see everyone equal. We deal with everything properly. But that doesn't automatically bring us to the house of bhakti. Then when we reach that level, then we can actually start performing devotion. Then there's ruchi, ashakti, bhava, prema. This is our goal, to first of all remove all the unwanted things, anartha nivritti. Then we become steady. And in that steady stage, we find satisfaction. We're no longer jerked around. The word jerk in English has a bad connotation. Oh, you're a stupid jerk. Because a jerk means he's pulled this way, that way. So this is our position now. We're pulled. We try to be steady, but we're pulled. Oh, there's a beautiful woman. Wham, we're pulled. There's an opportunity to exploit the resources of nature for our sense gratification. Then we're pulled. Everybody's pulled. Therefore, we can see everyone is a jerk in the material world. Because they don't know who they are. They're insane. Just like if we go to the insane asylum and somebody's thinking he's Napoleon or Jesus Christ, then we can understand this guy's crazy. But in the material, everyone is crazy. From a spiritual point of view, everybody's identifying with their body. I'm Polish, whatever. This is a craziness. You're not Polish. You're the spirit soul, happen to be in a Polish body. And next life, who knows what body you'll be in. So this first basic understanding, it's a mystery to people. What do you mean, I'm not this body? I'm not this mind. Then the second stage is, who is God? That also explained here, throughout Bhagavad Gita, throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna stu Bhagavan Swayam. He is the source of all incarnations. He's the real, supreme, almighty. No one is equal to him or greater than him. And then, of course, we come to the point of Prabhupada, that he's the pure via media to come to Krishna. This is our faith. We don't say we have a monopoly on approaching God, but we feel very confident that Prabhupada is authorized for the current, you can say, age, to establish this Krishna consciousness. His books, we believe, will be the law books for the next 10,000 years. His mission can reclaim the fallen souls. So that also, we want to keep loyal to Prabhupada. So these three things. I'm not this body. Prabhupada's Krishna's representative and Krishna is God. If we have that much conviction, then we'll naturally take the process. Process is not so difficult. We don't have to change our position, but just add this Krishna consciousness. And see that sense gratification won't make you happy. It won't make you happy. The young people think, oh, I'll be happy. But then you look at the old people. Where is their happiness? Look at their faces. They're not happy. Because they have no future. The sense gratification is past. It's a thing for the youth. When you're 60, 70, 80, you can't even get taste. Eating won't give you the same taste. Your taste buds are reduced. What to speak of sex life and all the so-called pleasures of sense gratification. They all become minimized. And then they have nothing. So you look in their eyes, it's like vacant. The old people sitting in the old people's homes or being neglected in the family. So we should understand this first principle. I'm not this body, I'm the soul. Then it gets, the future is bright. We saw Prabhupada's godbrothers, how all of them, they were very bright-eyed. They were happy because their future is bright. Even they're old, the future is bright because we're coming to Krishna. We're going to Krishna, and we're getting closer. So old age is no longer a dreadful thing, because we're not this body. We're not old. and we're coming closer to Krishna. So we become youthful, or we remain youthful. This is our natural position, to be always... Youth, we say, is something that we're anticipating something. We see that. The young people are anticipating. They have that enthusiasm. Oh yes, when I get this degree, when I get this word, then they're always going like that. So the old people will also be youthful if they're coming closer to Krishna. This is the idea. Okay, any questions?
Yes. From what you read, I noticed, I had an impression of different definitions of religion in our culture and in India, or in Prabhupada's understanding. Do you know what I mean?
No, Lord Jesus said, love God with your whole heart, your whole soul, your whole mind, and Bhagavatam says the same thing.
Yes, but I had the impression from this purport that religion is something material.
Oh, it can be, yeah. Give us this day our daily bread. If we're coming to God like that for our material needs, then it becomes a, sub-religious, or we're using religion for our own purpose.
So can we say there are two levels to religion? Like spiritual and material?
There's four things, right? Economic development, that's what Prabhupada was touching on. Sense gratification, what's the next one? Religiosity, and ultimate salvation. So yeah, religion can be used for sense gratification, or it can be used to bring us closer to God. Ultimately, let's say, the Vedic conception is Dharma. So Dharma tu shakshat bhagavat prinitan. The real religion is coming from God. Real religion means the law of God. So that is not material. If we follow the law of God, then we'll transcend material things. But problem is, that law of God can be, deviated. Because we say this is pleasing to God, but really it's pleasing to us. So that's where the borderline is. If we do things to make Krishna happy, then it's spiritual. If we do things, forgetting about Krishna just for our own advantage, then it's material. So that goes for Christians or Muslims or whoever. We have to look. They may say it's religious, but is it pleasing to God? Therefore Buddha came and he kicked out the Brahmins because they were performing the animal sacrifice for their own sense gratification, to taste the flesh of the animal. So he said, no, I don't care for your so-called religion, your Vedic religion where you're killing animals. And he preached ahimsa. So religion can very easily be used in the wrong way. We see this happening right now in the world. It's so-called jihadis. What are they doing? Do you think they're pleasing to Allah? They're claiming they are. But we have to see scientifically what is actually pleasing to God, what is not pleasing to God. So even in the Quran it says suicide is a sin, but they don't care. They're not interested in following real religion. But they're using religion to do what they want to do. Political purpose. But that's the danger. So therefore we need Guru, Sadhu, Shastra to discriminate between what is a so-called religion and what is real religion. So otherwise it's semantics. We can say religion or dharma or whatever. But the principle is that God is pleased. You think God is pleased when they blow up women and children in a market in the name of Allah? So they're misusing religion. So-called.
So unless we stand just for making money, even we can see in our society.
And money for what? For sense gratification. Therefore, Prabhupada says it's all right to desire to live healthy life, self-preservation. But what do you need more? We see the biggest problem in the Western world is people are overweight. There's an epidemic of eating too much. It's killing them. Diabetes in America, you know, how many population has diabetes? From overeating. I see in Poland also a lot of fat people.
India is an epidemic.
Yeah.
Diabetes.
Too much eating. So what's the use? Therefore, for self-preservation, don't eat more than required. Bhagavad Gita says, yogi doesn't eat more than required or less than required. Doesn't sleep more or sleep less. This is why we're keeping, just like we don't put too much oil in the car or whatever, we're just going to make it, there's a line, you know, put the oil up to here. Because we want to keep it running nicely. So the body is like a machine. Yancha Rudrani Maya. We keep it running nicely for the service of Krishna. More? So sometimes we say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. People may have good intentions, oh yeah, yeah, but they don't know the process. We give the example. If somebody falls out of the building, he's lying on the pavement. We come and we see the gentleman is there lying on the pavement. So first thing we want to do, we'll pick him up, put him on a bench or something. He should be lying on it. But no, the people with knowledge say you shouldn't move him. You should cover him. Try to keep him warm. Wait till a doctor comes. Because he may have a broken rib, and you moving him, you put the rib into his heart. Your intention is good. Oh, why are you lying on the ground? You pick him up. But you don't have knowledge. Therefore, knowledge is required. What is pleasing to God? That much knowledge we should have. Like now, big controversy, homosex. Is it pleasing to God? I don't think so. Because Krishna says, I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principle. And religious principle, Prabhupada explains, means for begetting children. So what are the homosexuals not going to beget children in the other man's anus? Therefore we say no. You can do it. We're not going to put you in jail, but you're not don't come across that as something morally proper. Using your semen. It's like, semen is like a seed. So you go to the farmer and you say, give me your valuable seeds, and you take it and throw it in the road. What is that? Or throw it into the well. He'll say, what are you doing? That's a valuable seed. So we're taking the seed, instead of putting it into the egg, which is meant for, we put it in another man's anus. Now, how is that going to be pleasing to God? You think God will be pleased with that? Even from common sense. The semen is considered the most refined object of the body. The most, in a man's body. Then we just take it, we just throw it away. Therefore, masturbation also, we say, is sinful. So people won't like that. Oh, well, what's wrong with homosexuals? They're equal. They have every right. Well, they can do whatever they want, but don't tell us that it's pleasing to God.
But they say that. They don't say that it's pleasing to God.
What do they say? It's becoming very popular.
They don't say anything about God. They just want to live their lives.
Yeah.
Not be condemned, persecuted,
Okay.
discriminated against. That's all.
Yeah. We're not going to go around condemning everybody, because that means everybody is guilty. The heterosexuals also.
It's counterproductive.
How many percentage of heterosexuals have sex life for begetting children only? Maybe half of a percent.
Even among devotees.
Yeah. But still, that's okay amongst devotees. But the point is, you want to go to the spiritual world, you have to get rid of all material desire. This is a material desire. You want to enjoy sex life without being responsible. You get implicated. If you have a desire for one raisin, then you have to stay. Okay, here, have a body that you can have a raisin in the next life.
What should homosexuals do?
Huh? We should offer everything to Krishna.
What should they do? Homosexuals, what should they do? They should
try to become celibate. I heard that one of the leading GBC members is a homosexual. And you'll never know it because he's celibate.
Yeah, but that's undoable for most of them.
It's difficult for brahmacharis to be celibate too.
Brahmacharya is not for everyone, just for few.
No, but actually Prabhupada says every man should go through brahmacharya life for some time.
For some time, yeah.
To get a training.
And then the whole life.
So that's the, what about dogs? How can we help them? They're also pure spirit soul, and they have a difficult body for them. But although Lord Chaitanya did deliver one dog. So homosexuals have an unfortunate body. It's a bad karma.
Yeah.
It makes it difficult. But it's not impossible. They're better than a dog because they can become pure devotees in this life.
My point is that if we condemn them...
No, we're condemning them. We're saying that the law is there. If you put your hand in a fire, you get burnt. If you have illicit sex, you get implicated. It pins you to the bodily conception of life. It makes it more difficult for you to understand that you're not this body. That's what we're saying. Socrates said the same thing. And they poisoned him because he was saying that. So people won't like it. Maybe you don't like it. That's all right. But the law is there. Put your hand in a fire, you get burned. You have illicit sex, you suffer. Just as strict. Go ahead.
So also the point is that many times we are using, it's not only in the case of what you mentioned, but any case, if we're telling actually how it is, but what you said is how it is, what is the law of God, then immediately somebody is coming, oh, you're condemning us. We are not condemning, telling the truth. This is just the truth.
It depends what the choice of words is.
Yeah, that's true. We agree. We can. Prabhupada sometimes was tactful. I'm not. We're not just.
Because you can easily discourage them if you say things like, you're putting semen in his ass and stuff like that. You're bad.
But Prabhupada also discourages them. He said, homosexuality, appetite of a man for a man, there's no place in a sane society for such an appetite. That's in Prabhupada's purpose. So people say, I ran into it even in Prabhupada's time. I was in San Francisco, maybe it was a little after Prabhupada left. But they came with the same complaint. Two homosexuals, they were devotees of some kind. And they said, they made the same complaint that you made. This is like 25 years ago. They said, well, grihastas can get married, they can dovetail their propensity, but we can't. So it's not fair. Well, what can we say? It's not fair. Then give up that desire. I'm a heterosexual, but I've been celibate, so I can also say it's not fair. Why I have to be sannyasi all my whole life? I could have had wife and children. Why did I get a chance? What's the use of lamenting? The things are what they are. Still they can chant Hare Krishna. We don't say you can't come to the temple if you're homosexual. Let them come. Let them take part in the process. Let them hear. Gradually, when they come to 60, 70, then maybe they'll stop doing that.
And that's my point. Let them know they are welcomed. They're not excluded, That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if we keep just saying they're this and that,
then... I didn't feel like this the Maharaj meant. He said it's for everybody. Also for same from hetero like if for homo.
Yeah, but I'm not
you have to
referring to
control.
Maharaj. I'm just saying what I come across with.
But for homo, it's no regulation. No regulation. For hetero, there is a regulation. For homo, it's no regulation. It's just
Yeah, there is one. Just give it up. Just be celibate.
Yeah. This is regulation.
And we should understand them also that how they feel about it. If they agree with you, then they feel awkward, to say the least. You should be compassionate towards them too.
So same hetero. If you preach to them, no illicit sex, no sex for just for this is for them. It's also like condemning what
exactly.
This is the same situation.
But be compassionate towards
what is they can say. Always, this is the principle. Sorry, this is the principle that everybody is thinking special. You know, while homosexual, they should be special treatment. You know.
No,
Why not me? Why not
I'm
me?
not saying they should get special treatment. I'm
Yeah,
just
but
saying
you're telling exactly special treatment.
No, I'm not saying
This
that.
is general rule.
I didn't
Control the
say
senses.
anything
And
to
that's it.
say to
Yeah.
to the end that they should be treated special. I'm just saying they should be treated the same.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the same to
We have
everybody
compassion
follows
towards
the rules.
No, but we don't treat everybody the same. Because if someone can't follow principles, we don't let them live in the temple. So we do discriminate, especially those who, not that taking the process, but from the institutional point of view, we don't allow practicing homosexuals to live in the temple. We may allow grihastas to live in it, but we don't. So, like Danavir, he has a bhakta program in Kansas. He doesn't allow homosexuals to come in. You could say, well, he's discriminating. Because it's too much for them. They're living in the same way. The boys are Brahmin underwear, going to the shower. They can't, it's unfair to them to allow them to live. Like if you brought in a brahmacharini ashram, don't ask a young boy to live with the girls and take showers and everything together. So there has to be some...
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying to be more compassionate in choice of words and stuff.
Well, it's a razor's edge. What is compassion? In other words, is compassion to water down the philosophy for them, or to tell them the truth?
The truth can be told in a variety of ways.
Yeah, so therefore everyone has an opportunity to preach and to attract people, and it's true. That's true. Sometimes Prabhupada was very uncompromising, and sometimes he was very accommodating. He had many homosexual disciples. Nobody even knew it. Bhavananda, Upendra, all these people were homosexuals. You wouldn't even know it. We were so enthusiastic, spreading Krishna consciousness, chanting Hare Krishna. I lived with Bhavananda. I didn't know he was a homosexual. Till after Prabhupada left, then he had some problem. And we never made a big thing about it. We didn't talk about it that much. The only reason I brought it up is there's so much in the news, at least in America. I don't know about here. But in America, it's a big thing. If you don't see them as equal, then, you're some kind of demon. So I was taking it from that point. Okay, let's stop. Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Srimad Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. We have to get going soon, huh?
Yes.
You get any word from your mother yet? No. You won't.
No, this will be after 10 o'clock.